Welcome to the 3 Gig Sports Podcast. This is Danny G alongside my co-hosts Jimmer and Rio. And don't you forget, we are never wrong, just sometimes misinformed. Today we're going to bring to you a fantasy recap. We've got a lot of interesting things that happened yesterday, including a big topic around the kickers today. Oddly enough, but definitely stay tuned. We're going to do a recap of the fantasy draft we had yesterday, which was a lot of fun, and definitely some dumb shit that occurred that we'll bring up. But before we get into that, Jimmer, we're going to head to you for some news and notes.
All right, so we're going to go ahead and start with the Minnesota Golden Gophers star running back. Ibrahim is out for the season with his leg injury. They haven't specified exactly what it is. You can assume ACL or meniscus. It's going to be something around that. It's too bad. I think he's been a little injury prone throughout his career here, and prayers up.
That is too bad. He looked good.
He did. He was balling for him. In fact, they were still in that game or leading when he left. So that's a huge hit for their season, I think.
Oh yeah, definitely.
We have the 49ers signing Josh Norman to address their secondary depth. Any words on that?
I mean, do what you got to do there. I don't know enough about what's going on with Sherman yet. Should they have brought him back? Could they have? But, yeah, not a bad pickup.
I think maybe that case is a little worse than what everybody knows, because I don't know why you wouldn't have brought Sherman back instead for someone that knows the system. But Oklahoma escapes a 40-35 win over unranked Tulane.
They suck, so that's no surprise.
Boomer Sooner, baby.
Get out of
They're
here.
going to roll up them Longhorns.
No way, man. We look good.
Yeah, I bet.
We look darn good.
Who'd you guys beat?
Oh, I don't know. Just a top 25 team. Raging Cajuns returned
That's
almost
what
all
we're
their
gonna bring-
starters.
That's what we're going to bring to this. Come on, man. They're like an 8-win team at best. All right.
They just lost only one game last year. What?
In a COVID season? Okay.
10-1. 10-1 is what they went.
Kudos to you.
10
And it was
1.
at your house. So kudos to you.
10-1 is.
Are they also dealing with like mass flooding and shit like that from a hurricane down there?
Nothing to do with
Weird.
them
so
playing a
their
ball
mind is-
game.
it isn't. They don't have their mind on their homeland there. Okay. Oh, fuck me.
Some mind on getting that ass whooped by Texas Longhorns.
UCLA beats LSU.
Danny's a good pick.
Hold on. Number 16, LSU, 38-27. First 2-0 start under Chip Kelly and first win against an SEC school since 2017.
Yeah, it's a big deal. I think Chip Kelly's making the turn. I think this year they're going to be really good. Obviously, great win against LSU. Hell yeah.
How about LSU, man? That coach got on the hot seat now, or what?
I think so. I mean, it's been, slowly downhill since the national championship?
Yeah.
They just quite haven't been the same, But I'm telling you, Chip Kelly doesn't go to Friday night football games to scout. He goes to the track meets. So those boys are finally coming in.
Fast.
And that's what we got going. They all fast.
Fast. Let's go.
Texans officially named veteran Tyrod Taylor starting quarterback. Like, we didn't see that one coming.
Yeah, it's interesting keeping a roster spot for
Did he
Deshaun,
just flat out beat out Deshaun Watson? I mean,
no.
is that what that was? Was it a quarterback controversy?
Yeah, he's obviously the better quarterback. Right? But
Yeah,
no, it's not going to make a difference, right? They're going to be terrible.
They are going to be terrible.
Yeah. Yep. Maybe they did it for the first round pick. Not for any other legal issues.
Right, got to get another quarterback, right?
Right. Masvidal wants a title shot and to beat up the Pauls.
Well, who doesn't want either of those things?
Right.
So join the list. But, yeah, I mean, I'm not sure if he's good enough to have a title and keep it for that long. He can knock out anybody, but I don't think he's that caliber to keep it and stay up there,
Right.
So, his best bet's almost going and fighting the Pauls. Everybody's getting a big payday. If you're unhappy with your pay, go sign to fight Jake Paul.
What were you saying about fighting the Pauls?
Definitely rigged.
Yeah, definitely.
Definitely has to be. Tyrone Woodley got $2 million.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I agree. That the Masvidal one is kind of, well, first off, there's a few little things he has to jump over, kind of like what Conor had to do. He's under a UFC contract, so Dana White would have to sign off on it, which he may be all about that, because I think there's a little spat between Jake Paul and Dana White, so maybe he does send one of his boys over there to possibly try to knock him out.
Right, but then he's got to pay up. He's got to go, okay, hey, don't take whatever the hell they're taking you to dive. I'll pay you $1 million under the table or something,
and you actually knock him out.
Knock this dude out.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, I don't. Man, Masvidal's decent, but I think if you are sending somebody over there to do that, the guy that's got the boxing ability to do it is probably Conor, and it's going to be the biggest payday anyway. Right?
Yeah.
I think he's a much better boxer than somebody like Masvidal.
So, and here's the thing.
Payday, but
somebody's still got to sanction it, like health professionals and stuff like that. So will they do somebody, sanction a fight between Conor and this guy, Conor who's held the UFC belt multiple times, right? Would they even sanction that?
For safety purposes?
Correct, yeah, correct. Because he's only 4-0, right, against
Well, yeah.
Tyrone Woodley's probably his biggest win.
Right, but Woodley was still one of the best in his time, too, was he not?
He was okay, but doesn't have the same as Conor McGregor.
Oh, well, very few people do, though. I mean,
yeah.
That's a fair question.
Especially in his heyday, but yeah. I mean, you'd have to give someone, when there's money involved, anyone can get in the ring with anybody.
Oh, yeah.
Like somebody's getting paid extra
right,
to make sure it happens.
Okay, here, let this
go
on, whatever happens. But
yep. So Georgia wins 10-3 against Clemson while holding them to 2 yards rushing and 7 sacks.
That was a crazy game. So they lose to Bama, but they, maybe they split with Bama. I think, obviously, 2 SEC teams still get in, man. They look so darn good.
Yeah, that defense is going to keep, and their defense has been good for many years, so it's kept them in games. But I think the difference at that point will be what JT Daniels, to see if they can take that step forward on offense when it's time, when it's needed.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. You're going to look at playing against Alabama, who has these similar, probably better defense than Clemson, right? I would say probably head and shoulders better, but their offense can drop 30-40 on you too, even with a good defense. So you have to be able to match that if you're Georgia.
In the recent, Heisman odds, Bryce Young just jumped right over all of them.
I saw that. And I seen my boy B. John Robinson showed up too.
So. Oh, okay.
No Tyler Goodson to be found anywhere.
Never heard of her.
No Hawkeye emblem there, but
should be. Oh, he got overshadowed by Riley Moss. No big deal. Two interception return for touchdowns. I mean,
Rio, you're just going to be thanking us after this weekend when we whoop up on the Cyclones. Texas looks really good.
Right, when we beat Iowa State. Yeah, I hope you guys do. I'm going to play. I think it'll be a low-scoring affair, defensive battle.
Yeah.
Your offense, you had 14, 21 points, something like that, set up by the defense.
Yeah.
Yep.
We have Kyle Pitt's Madden rating places him 18th among tight ends.
Wow.
18th best tight end. Any thoughts on that?
That is weird considering how many raves he was getting.
That's what I'm getting.
To begin with. So definitely confusing. I guess I hadn't heard that yet, but that is confusing considering all the hype, surrounding him.
This is breaking news to me. That is nuts.
How can you justifiably put that on there? I understand rookie.
I'd say top 10 maybe.
But 18? You're telling me, can you name 17 tight ends in the league?
It'd be tough.
You know what I'm saying? And,
yeah.
I don't know. Fantasy draft, what are you going? I don't know. He was rated probably the 4th best tight end in fantasy. I just don't understand. Just nuts. Maybe they know something we don't. They have made millions of dollars. So
yeah.
Notre Dame wins in overtime against Florida State, 41-38. One little side note, was it Milton Mckenzie? Is that his name? Quarterback touches the field for Florida State.
Yeah.
Doesn't do
Awesome
too bad.
story.
This is also, that's
over
the same
1,000
guy.
days he hasn't taken a snap.
Yep. I think it's like 34 months or something like that. And I didn't realize that he almost lost his leg. Like it was.
Yeah, it was real bad.
Amputation was a conversation at UCF there. So
he was a stud there, lighting it up, and he comes in and led 2 touchdown scoring drives to tie it and send it to overtime.
Yep, they went. I think he went 5 of 7, 47 or 49 yards, somewhere in that ballpark. But moving the ball down and got the 2 scoring drives and kept them in it. Did you have something?
Love to see it.
Did you have something to say about a controversial Brian Kelly quote?
Yeah, for those of you that didn't hear it, just listen back to what Brian Kelly said. He was in reference to execution, and he essentially said he wanted to execute his players. He was trying to joke about it, which for a normal person maybe it'd be kind of a funny joke, but he's just not the guy to do it. It was bad. I know he's pissed that people are picking at him and saying so much about it, but you just have to know where you're at and what's happened before you say stuff like that.
He was just trying to channel his former Bucs coach John McKay's remark. No big deal, right?
Yeah, and like I said, for a normal person, that is no big
Right.
deal. But considering somebody has literally died under your watch, I don't think that's the move.
Not a good move at all.
Yeah, no. He has. I don't know. He wasn't thinking, and then he's still not even backpedaling either. Like
Yeah.
he's still like
He's
trying to
digging
like
in.
defend it. He's like, "What the hell? What's wrong with you crazy people?"
Yeah.
Oh, my bad. Fuck me, right? But I think we'll go ahead and kick it off to some fantasy talk. I don't know which one of you guys want to go ahead and get her started there, but
Yeah, so a big one coming in. We got our fantasy draft. I was dead set on.
some context. What do we got going in ours? How many men?
So
Points?
yeah, we got 12 teams, 6 points for passing touchdowns. It was definitely a good draft. Always fun day, right?
Half point PPR.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Also half point PPR. Always a good time. A few surprises coming in. Every year somebody takes Patrick Mahomes in the first. Guess where he went?
Not the first.
Not the first. He went 3rd round. That is insane.
Which is where they like the highest one should go in my opinion anyway.
Ye-
But it doesn't
yep.
happen that way. That's
Right.
what's crazy about it is that somebody didn't do it.
Right. So several new people in. This is also the first year that we did it on the app. Usually we write it in on paper
And then enter it
and
later.
enter it later. So definitely different experience, but overall I think a better experience for everyone. I do think that contributed to some teams being better than they normally have, like Jimmers.
Do you remember seeing the belt? Do you think someone's holding it ransom?
I think he lost it.
Think he lost it?
I think he lost it.
You would lose it if you don't feel like you really earned it. So
Right.
What I think
Got
happened.
a gift wrapped championship season,
What I think
aka
happened.
Luke Rising championship.
If I
right
was
there.
the champion, I probably wouldn't bring the belt because there's no need for it to leave my house. It's going to be there at the end of the season. But that's just hypothetical. If I were the champion.
at the end of the season before you hand it
sorry.
over, is that what you're
Right.
talking about? I got
Right
you.
before you drive it to my house and hand it to me.
Well, since you're my neighbor, I'm gonna go ahead and say that's awfully cute. 'Cause
Well,
it'll
by
just
end of the
cross over.
season, I'll be down by Joey.
Hey, no, yours is 3rd place. We need to get 3rd place trophy in memoriam of Chris Shepard.
Can't escape it, man.
Can't
We do.
escape
I
it.
think third place trophy is instead of a toilet bowl, it's a toilet bowl with
With what?
the I can't even think of the term right now with the cleaner.
with the bidet.
With the bidet.
With the
There you go.
bidet.
Toilet bowl with the bidet, so it's like
Yeah.
a step up from
Yeah,
the toilet
it's a step
bowl.
up from the toilet bowl. It's still clean.
All right.
It
Well,
still cleans
when
your
I
rear end.
deliver the toilet bowl to you this year, Danny, I'm gonna take a crap in that little thing and then hand it on over.
I love it.
you go ahead and rinse it out.
So, 1 and 2 in our drafts. Dalvin Cook goes overall number 1 to Christian McCaffrey. What do y'all think? Kind of what we expected.
Kind of. You guys actually skewed that guy to go ahead and take Dalvin out from underneath me, so I couldn't root for my boy and have him on my team.
Yes.
But no, it's you know what? You can't lose in that position at second. Like you're going to take one of those two guys.
Right.
Kamara was by far it would have been a stretch. I'm not saying I would have completely shook him ahead because the Saints don't have a bunch of weapons, so they're going to have to go to this guy in the air, on the ground. So it isn't like it would have been far stretch had someone done that, but there's no way I was going to do that. Christian McCaffrey was pretty clear cut if Dalvin was off the board. So
Sure.
I seen at number 4 we had Ezekiel Elliott go.
Yes,
We seen him go before Derrick Henry, Nick Chubb. Well, quite literally all the way better running backs. Saquon.
Get out of here. I did debate Saquon a little bit, but
that injury stuff is that, you know what, I'd be a little skittish too. I mean, that isn't just a 1 year fluke.
He stayed off the field a long time.
Yeah. Yep.
So I was dead set on Kamara when we showed up to the draft, and then he went 3. So no other reason why might as well just go my boy Ezekiel Elliott. I can root for my team the whole year.
Yeah.
And
actually, the more shocking pick to me, guys, was Austin Eckler at 6. Now, I'm not saying that he wasn't a good pick. That isn't like that.
Yeah.
But that early, when everybody else was still left outside of Derrick Henry.
Right. I think Nick Chubb, he should have went Nick Chubb there.
Aaron Jones,
Jonathan Taylor. I like those picks. I wouldn't have gone wide receiver yet.
Not me personally, but you wouldn't have shooken your head at somebody taking Devonte there.
Right.
Either.
Right.
If that's what they're into. We'll get to the person that took Devonte because he had a wonderful, wonderful draft. Shout out to TK.
Yes, indeed.
I don't know if he remembers much of the draft, but
Yeah, the end of the first, we get closer to ADP. So Jonathan Taylor, Devontae Adams, Tyreek. That was pretty close to kind of what we were seeing before that. I think that made sense. Austin Eckler was a clean 7 picks higher than ADP, so that was a surprise.
Yep.
Yeah.
God. Then moving into the second round, my pick here was Antonio Gibson with Washington. Did you guys have any beef with that?
I did, and not because you took him. Well, not because of where you took him, because you did take him. I was hoping he'd make it to the end of the second. I really was hoping that he'd be my second running back. I don't know if it would have made it, but can't be mad at you. I think he's gonna be a monster there. I think he's gonna be force fed that rock, and they played defense there, so they won the run.
Yeah, I think he ended up higher than his ADP, but when I'm looking at it, I mean, I wouldn't have had anybody else until the end of the third, and then I'm really stretching to get my running back. So
yeah, you would have had to. I mean, your other options, and I don't even know if I would take any one of them above what you did take, was you had Clyde Edwards-Helaire there. You had Najee Harris. Maybe I would have taken Najee.
Joe Mixon, David Montgomery.
I
think I'd still go Gibson. I like the pick.
Yep.
I thought it was great to get, especially because you went Tyreek at the end of the first and turn around and get Gibson. So I think you did pretty well there.
Well, some of these things, I think the reason why that second wave of running back was so thin right away, at least in the second round, I should say, was honestly because you didn't have Travis Kelsey going the first anywhere. You didn't have Patrick Mahomes going, which, like we stated earlier, usually does happen. So, I mean, that bumps him up a little bit. And one of those running backs really didn't fall to you that you had to take that guy.
Yeah.
You know,
if you had waited, you would have been having no options.
Yeah.
When it come back around to you,
then you'd be looking like TK's team. Which goes to Travis Kelsey next. So
Travis Kelsey gets taken second round.
And his first 2 picks were Devontae Adams and Travis Kelsey. I'm going to tell you right now, and I've already stated on a previous episode that I'm not big on tight end anyway. But I understand if someone does take him, but you do not pair that up with a wide receiver.
Correct.
If you're going to take a tight end, it needs to be a running back with him. That's in my personal opinion. You went wide receiver, and yes, he's probably He's probably consensus number 1 receiver out there. But you paired him up with a tight end. Yeah, I would have had less beef if he would have went another wide receiver. If he would have taken Stephon Diggs in him, at least you would have. I don't know. It just doesn't look good, and you'll see that at the rest of as we go on further. The rest of his draft
is not great.
It's not great. It may not be the worst one. We were debating that a little bit ago too. So
yeah. Definitely. Then I think moving down, I mean, some kind of pretty typical picks, right? We got Diggs, Clyde, DK, Najee. I know you're pretty high on him. I just worry about that offensive line.
Mm-hmm. Me too.
Yep.
A.J. Brown with Tennessee.
That's also a Titans fan, but still not. I didn't really. If there's a head scratching one, and this one may be A.J. because he's been banged up this offseason too. But really, I don't think the second round was all that bad, as in picks. It's just like in which case the one Travis Kelsey, a guy
Right.
that already took a receiver in the first. So
Right, but still, okay, he's technically a good pick, Kelsey. He's still going to score points there.
yeah,
Took a Justin Jefferson. I wanted to go running back, but I knew you were coming up in a pick.
yeah.
Took
so,
Justin Jefferson. I was hoping Joe Mixon. Joe Mixon went right after me. I was hoping to get him on the flip, but does not. I do like your Montgomery pick. I think he stays healthy and does a really good job for the Bears this year. I think
So
they go to Fields, right, and they're going to
Yep.
have to run that ball.
So right there, that was a pick by elimination, kind of the same context as what Danny just said on his. I'm like, it isn't like I was targeting the guy. It isn't like, I'm like, oh hell yeah, I'm not disappointed with the pick.
That's a solid pick, man.
But that being said, I needed I think I wanted another. There was plenty of receivers I thought still on the board.
Yeah.
I felt like I had to get a running back too.
Yep.
Especially with all the running backs that had flown off in the first 2 rounds.
Yeah, you turn around in 3 and you get DeAndre. That's solid. So, yeah, you within just a stretch of a couple picks, David Montgomery, DeAndre Hopkins, not bad at all.
I was heavily contemplating Chris Carson. Chris Carson, the only tiebreaker between those two for me was just injury history.
Right.
And I would have almost had to handcuff Chris Carson. I would have had to. And I don't
Absolutely.
like to handcuff if I can help it, if I feel
Yep.
comfortable. And
Yep.
if you grab Chris Carson, you would have had to grab, the second running back. So,
After my last 2 years, I handcuffed. So Saquon, Christian McCaffrey both get hurt.
yeah.
So
Patrick Mahomes goes right after that.
third
So,
round,
third
big surprise for me. I was certain he was going rounds 1 or 2. That's just what it happens every year. Somebody jumps on him,
Yep.
Gets him
but,
early.
But and I agree. That's what usually happens. But I'm actually proud of the fact that that's still a little early
Yeah.
for me. But that's actually where your number one quarterback should go.
They should.
Right.
They must have been just listening to our podcast.
They must have. They're smart people. Then.
That's right.
So in middle of the round, here goes a couple more tight ends in round 3. Darren Waller, George Kittle go in the middle here. You still thinking that's not great value there?
Yeah, I'm not completely sold on that. To me, it's not a great value to be reaching for. A tight end. I still think that's still early. But that being said, if you felt like you needed one, then you just grabbed. They went 7-8 in the 3rd round. You did grab the 2 next best. I personally was hoping George Kittle will make it to the 4th. So, I think that'll be, unfortunately for the particular guy that got her. I think he took Kittle last time too. So, yeah, not too bad. And then Josh Allen went a little bit later in this. 2
Will
picks later.
Arnold got Kittle, and he just wrapped up a trio. He goes running back, wide receiver, tight end there.
Okay, so he just went kind of 1, 2, 3.
Yep.
There. Yep. And then Josh Allen goes a couple picks later. That's your second quarterback off the board. I don't want to skip over CD Lamb there. That's one hell of a pick there. I was thinking about him myself, but DeAndre. It was literally between DeAndre and him. What's the only difference there? DeAndre is the alpha.
Right.
Now, CD has the potential to be, so I'm not going to beat up on him like that, but he's not there yet. He still has Amari there. He still has, I'm not saying Gallup is ahead of him, but he still has targets away from him to Gallup, and Zeke will catch him out of the backfield, Pollard. So between those two, it was pretty clear-cut just because DeAndre is that guy. So,
Yeah, absolutely. I think I would have stuck with Hopkins as well.
that's
Right
where
there.
that was where mine was. You, I did see in the 3rd round you did take Scary Terry McLaurin. I liked it actually.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, definitely. I went back-to-back wide receivers, so covering my receiving core up there. Just didn't like what I was seeing at running back right in the 3rd round, early
No.
3rd. I was like, no, there's just Scary Terry.
There was only 3 that went in that round.
you know,
Chris Carson, DeAndre, and James Robinson.
Right.
I like DeAndre, but I just feel like that was a little early. But that's what happens when you are at the tail end of.
Yeah.
Then you'd be dabbling for another running back like we talked about before. Yeah, so
Yeah, I was hoping who was it? Miles Sanders. Had my eye on him, and he was kind of down the board a little bit. I was hoping he'd make it back. He did not. Danny did take my boy DeAndre Swift. Nice pick at the end of the 3rd round. Really like it. Not so sure about your next pick, Mike Evans.
I honestly think that Mike Evans will be the third best wide receiver on that team.
Yeah, with Allen Robinson sitting there, even Thielen, Chris Godwin was there when we talked about
Yeah.
him. So,
which I appreciate you not taking him because he did fall to me that way. But
yeah.
Allen Robinson actually really crossed my mind in that round. I'm surprised you didn't take him. I didn't take him because I had Montgomery already. I just didn't want too many Bears, especially with a rookie quarterback and all that too.
Yeah.
So that's the only reason why I didn't take him, like, for instance, the round before. Allen Robinson is a clear-cut swinging donger wide receiver.
I do like the thought because later in the draft he does get Tom Brady, right? So that might be the only place I'd like to double up is quarterback and wide receiver if you can do it. On the potential for double points.
What was your thought process there?
Yeah, I know you guys are higher on Godwin than Evans. I think they're pretty close, but I like the touchdown factor from Evans. The big body, Brady's looking for him. Godwin does get a little bit higher target share, but Mike Evans ends up getting the touchdowns, and that's pretty much what it comes down to. I think they're going to score a ton of points, and a lot of them are going to go to Mike Evans. So.
I did have him last year. I'm going to tell you, get used to, at best, 2 receptions, 2 1-yard touchdowns, and that's on a better day. His reception days of 8, 9, 10, those are and consistent 8, 9, 10, I should say. Those are gone. Tom Brady, for whatever reason, doesn't look for him, like force-feeding him like Jameis used to. So, yeah. But, like you said, you're going for the touchdowns. He likes those big bodies down in there, and I think he substitutes that with some Gronkowski, who's a little up there in age. I mean, he put in a few touchdowns last year, 6, 7 or something like that. But
yeah,
that I did see in this same round we start getting that probably third wave running back, and we get the Raheem Mostert, which isn't a bad pick, but the guy's team that it ends up with where it's
I think there's just too many backs there.
Yeah. Josh Jacobs goes.
And they've shown, San Francisco has shown that they'll just run with whoever. They'll rotate them all, kind of go with the hot hand and such. So I myself didn't want any part of San Francisco running backs.
Yeah. Oh, go ahead.
He's got the potential. When he's there, he's the guy.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's assuming health. This could be a great value in the 4th round, but there is that big worry, right? He tends to get hurt, and then they'll roll with whoever.
Gosh,
so I get your point.
What he could be if he could make it, even 15 games, 15, 16, 17, you're talking a challenge for the rushing title because of the scheme they run.
Right.
And he does run out, but he just gets banged up. He runs hard, and
even when they split carries, he's a stud.
He's still the guy.
There.
It's like clear cut. Like when you see whoever the other guy is that's out there on the field with him or splitting carries, like, dude, why did you even pull Raheem in this one? Like, it's clear-cut better, but he just can't stay healthy. You have Josh Jacobs, Miles Sanders, Gus Edwards, your crappy pick of Mike Davis in the 4th.
Hey, I needed a running back. I only had one at that point, so I had to go here.
I would have taken Kareem Hunt over that, and Damian Harris was still on the board. I would have taken Damian Harris over him.
So in this situation, Rio had to draft somebody that he said he was going to draft the day before. So at least he got one guy that he said.
Right, there you go.
Are you insinuating something a little further on down the draft?
Yeah, I think a little bit later we'll touch on that. But at least, Rio, nice work backing up what you said the other day.
There you go. Yeah. We'll continue with some nice work. Julio in the 5th round. I know you see that. That was a great pick in the 5th.
It's not a bad pick, and like I said, we'll see what I think in my analysis in our previous episode was what he's gonna do is actually help everybody else. I'm not saying he's gonna be bad. Maybe I don't think you're gonna see anywhere near 100 balls caught. It'll be somewhere in the ballpark of maybe 70 or something, and hopefully the touchdowns go up. That play action, Derrick Henry, play action. You have AJ Brown on the other side, but I still think Julio actually helps them more than himself. I think he helps open up the Derrick Henry train. I think it pulls that double off of A.J. Brown, or the over the top help, I should say. But no, it isn't like it's a horrible pick. In fact, in that round that goes after that, there isn't one of them I would have taken ahead of him. Because DJ Moore I probably would have taken over him, but he got taken. He got taken just before you. So.
Yep. So Kyle Pitts does go right in the middle here in round 5.
Yep.
So that is tight end, probably where you'd
probably
start looking.
That's where I would have started looking for that. For anyone other than Travis Kelsey.
Yep.
That's probably what I would have started looking at. So not exactly horrible. And if he pans out like everyone says, God, it's one hell of a steal then, especially if he ends up in the top 3.
Absolutely.
So
Aaron Rodgers goes here.
Yeah.
In this round, later in the round. And Danny, Odell Beckham.
Yeah. So Odell Beckham, if I could talk, Odell Beckham was still here. He definitely has a lower floor. But when I looked at the other receivers I was going to hope for later in the rounds, I had some floor guys, and I needed somebody else that could potentially give me the ceiling. So I went with Beckham here. I think if Damian Harris was there, I might have gone Damian Harris. But otherwise, I think Beckham was the move in this situation. And then the next, going right into round 6, kind of back-to-back there, Myles Gaskin, kind of the same thing. I'm hoping for the upside with him. They've got a little bit of a trio of backs, right?
Yeah, Malcolm Brown is over there.
I'm not saying it's bad. Me personally, I would have taken Darrell Henderson there, because even in a double backfield, it's still one hell of an offense I would want a piece of versus Gaskin, which Gaskin wasn't bad when he touched the field last year. Don't get me wrong. It's just Darrell looked pretty damn good when Cam Akers wasn't quite showing up yet. Malcolm Brown was like kind of a little hit and miss. But he did once he got banged up, which he probably will again this year. Cam Akers took that and ran with it until he got banged up. So,
yeah. Well, I mean, in with the Rams, you've got 3 guys competing too, right, for different things. So
yeah, I like that Sony Michel trade out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I get where you're going though. Darrell wouldn't have been a bad pick either.
Yeah.
Then so Tyler ended up with Darrell. Then we've got Chase Claypool in round 6. Hawkinson, Jared Jeudy. I think
could be.
Man.
Yeah, I wanted him in this round. I ended up taking Kenny Galladay because I mean wide receivers that next wave kind of started popping off right here, and when it came down to my pick, it was who was available was Kenny Galladay, Juju, Debo, Devonte, Smith, Jarvis Landry, Jamar Chase, kind of in that category right there, right? And yes, I know my guy has been banged up, and he was banged up last year. But I just have no faith in Juju. I have no faith in I don't want to bank on any Pittsburgh receiver. I just, like, if I feel like that Big Ben is going to take one hell of a dip this year.
Yeah.
Doesn't that mean his receivers also take
definitely take a hit?
So I just wanted to stay away. I think they're special receivers. I just don't think that. I mean, if I believe that their quarterback's going to take it down, obviously their wide receivers have to go down too. You know. So that was my thought process on that one. Debo Samuel, that one was probably my hardest thought process.
He didn't go till round 8.
Oh yeah, hold on. Oh, was it? Oh, I just skipped
Brandon
over.
Ayuk.
Yeah, my bad.
Of, right?
Yeah, Brandon Ayuk.
Yeah.
Right.
Chenault going here.
Or
Courtland
Cortland Sutton was the other one too. Yep.
Chenault going here with Kenny Galladay, Juju on the board, Courtland Sutton, Robbie Anderson. I just thought there was a few that kind of surprised me, seeing Chenault go right there. I thought there was a couple more wide receivers if that's where.
Yeah.
Who was it that took him?
That was Kyle. Which we were talking about could be in rough shape this year too.
Right. I thought there was a few more, so I thought that was a reach.
Yeah.
There.
I'm not completely against it, but not just what was left on the table.
Right.
Then I would have taken, because I think Laviska is that guy that kind of does a little bit of everything. I mean, kind of like Brandon Ayuk. I actually see them both kind of the same type of player. They'll run the ball. They'll out of the back, and stuff like that, and they'll get their receptions, and they're kind of gadget and pretty damn good receivers. But I would have taken Kenny Galladay over him. I probably would have I would have taken Debo over him. So I think there are and that was 2 rounds later. I keep looking past that. Sorry, and Courtland Sutton, I would have taken. I'm just saying I agree with you on that one. That one's a little bit of a stretch when there was still some more valuable pieces to me on there.
Yeah, and I think the most important topic of the conversation today, I think I'll go ahead and do this for Rio because I know he won't do it. But I want to go ahead and apologize to anybody listening for Rio misleading you in his true opinions about quarterbacks in the NFL. The other day, if you listened, he had Dak Prescott up in the range of Aaron Rodgers is going to be one of the best quarterbacks in the league. And so we had a situation here where Dak Prescott was out there still, along with some other guys like Lamar Jackson,
Russell Wilson,
things like that. And Rio, I'm going to go ahead and kick it over to you. Tell everyone who you drafted here.
So let's rewind to the other episode. I did say dark horse MVP. In the 6th round, I did take Lamar Jackson over my boy Dak Prescott. And I did this for a couple reasons. I don't like taking the same quarterback and running back off the same team just for the factor of if one's struggling, the other one will probably struggle too. So I didn't want to kind of tie my feet together there as well. I do like Dak. I think it was a coin flip. And if I hadn't taken Zeke in the first, I would have taken Dak. Also, since y'all like to ride me so hard, y'all assholes, the last 5 guys who won the MVP, only 2 of them finished first in their fantasy points in their class there. So
what's that have anything to do with Dak or Lamar?
You saying that he would be you saying that me saying he would be MVP. So that is why I brought it up.
But neither one of them were previous year MVPs. Like last year's MVP.
Right. So, yes, I think he's going to have a good year and be a dark horse for MVP.
So, for some extra context, whose jersey were you wearing yesterday at the draft?
Thank you for asking.
I was also wearing a Dak jersey. This is where I really got myself. It's because my CD Lamb jersey did not come in, okay?
But you were still rocking a Dak jersey, right?
That is correct.
Okay.
I was.
Okay.
And I did. I took Lamar Jackson over Dak Prescott. It's all right.
Hey.
You're
never wrong, but you are definitely misinformed
on
this one.
Misinformed,
damn.
Fellas.
I like Lamar, but you got to catch this one when you're saying offense. You were even saying offensive player of the year for Dak. Even if you want to take the dark horse part out, you said offensive player of the year. So unable to be offensive player of the year, you got to ball the fuck out. So you have to be tossing all kinds of numbers everywhere. So.
Right, but he's my dark horse MVP, right?
I said, but you said offensive player of the year before that.
That's not where it went, though. That's not where he ultimately went in my pick. Dark horse MVP is where he went.
My point is, I would have. There's no way after saying it on our podcast, been preaching it, and show up in a Dak jersey that I would not be taking Dak. I don't give a shit if I had Zeke or not.
Why? The last 5 years, the MVP's only finished first twice.
What's that have anything to do with what you're saying? You're confusing me with that.
So doesn't mean he's going to put up the most fantasy points is what I mean, even if they win MVP. That's not what that means.
How is it not? Go ahead and show Aaron Rodgers, please.
I have the list right
here. Go ahead
here.
And show it.
Rodgers was second. Lamar was first.
Doesn't have to be the top. Doesn't have to be the top, though. Where did Lamar go? And then
I'm saying, just because I think he's going to be a potential MVP doesn't mean he's going to score the most fantasy points.
He's going to be pretty damn close. I bet you outscores Lamar.
Maybe not.
It's a 6
maybe
point
not.
passing touchdown league.
I don't know. Injuries. A lot of stuff come into it. Injuries too. Injuries on the line.
Are you saying that Lamar Jackson is going to have more passing touchdowns than Dak Prescott?
No, absolutely not.
Well,
like I said, there's a lot of things that went into it.
You got scared.
No,
and you're not. And you
a little bit,
your boy.
a little bit of the injury
and
thing.
You won't back your boy.
But the injuries to the line still, they're having problems there. His foot injury, but
it didn't scare you away from Ezekiel, who's horrible with bad lines.
He still ran for almost 1,000 yards.
But he didn't run for 1,000, did he?
Almost.
Almost only counts in what?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So, yeah, I just
next.
didn't want to tie myself together with a quarterback and running back from the same team. I don't like doing that.
So bad. That still goes back to you shouldn't have taken Zeke then. At that, I would have taken Derrick Henry then if you had Dak on your mind, even half-ass.
Didn't want to.
Oh, okay.
I didn't have Dak on my mind.
You know what?
I said, I was going to wait out.
Always keep competing for that third place. We always need that third place guy. Appreciate you. The way better quarterback that was taken shortly after that was Russell Wilson. I don't know.
He's going to be horrible.
I don't know whose team that was, but God, it's looking pretty sharp.
No, you have a bad team. Don't
Do
get it
I?
twisted.
Do I?
Horrible.
Go ahead and say this out loud then. Say, pull my team up.
Horrible.
You do not want this. The next pick after.
Hold on. Let's talk about you getting second place and getting the second pick. All right.
You did random draw. That wasn't my fault.
So that's some BS.
That wasn't
right
my
there. Anyways, so you could potentially be Tyler Kinnicky's draft.
You know what? You guys made it. I just play by the rules that you laid down, baby. I have no.
Don't include
say
me
this.
in this. You know. I
Oh,
think
Danny's
it's
already on
He's
board.
like,
So
Oh, Tyler was so fucking lighting us up too, though.
I didn't
He's like,
realize he had been the
I
11th.
did not realize that either. So for the last 3 years, he has been the second to last pick because we've randomly drawn every time. So he wasn't 11 last year, so he was a little misinformed because we only had 10 players
Right.
or 10
So it
guys
must've
last
been
year,
like
so he
9.
must have been 9.
Right.
But even still, 3 straight years of that, and he kind of got punished because we keep having so many people in a turnover. 4 or 5 guys, 3, 4 or 5.
Yep. Shout out Jesse Salee there.
That's fine. Listen,
Appreciate him showing up for the draft
even at
Not
pick 11,
with the number 1 pick.
you have a better draft
Yeah.
than what he had. So he can relax.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, you had a way better. You knocked yours out compared to what he did. He made you
Yeah.
look good.
It's crazy looking at his draft and then looking at Danny at 12 right behind him. It's like,
So I
this
don't.
is crazy.
Who's Team Hal? Who's
Ben
that?
Halverson.
Is that Ben Halverson? Why would you take Brandon Cooks before Cortland Sutton,
Robbie
Anderson,
Tyler Boyd.
Tyler
Michael Gallup.
Boyd? I'd probably take even Michael Gallup before that. Brandon Cooks is going to be really bad on that team, and not because he's going to be
Right.
bad.
It's
Not because of him. The quarterback, the team,
The whole team is
the
gonna be
offensive
really bad.
line. Tyrod Taylor does not know how to hit a deep ball, really, not with consistency. He's had that his whole career. I like Tyrod, just it's not there. So the one thing that makes Brandon special is that deep ball. And the
Yeah.
dude can't hit him, so why would you do that? I don't know.
I think it's the name, right? When
Yeah,
you look
it's
at some
gotta
of the
be.
names.
Maybe they're
it's-
hoping before the trade deadline, 'cause he's been traded like
Mhm.
7 times
Yeah.
in the last
I
3
did
years.
grab my boy Cortland Sutton here. I love it.
Yeah,
Here in the
I-
7th.
It's a solid
I
pick.
liked it. I was hoping it was going to fall. Someone yanked Jerry Judy before that. I did want to go head-to-head with you on the Cortland
Oh,
Sutton, Jerry Judy.
I was hoping you'd get him too.
I know, I
saw
was hoping.
Will maybe got him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That,
He's already shown chemistry with Teddy.
So round 7 was our quarterback yanking time. So
Oh, yeah.
over half the
100%.
half the picks were quarterbacks: Russell Wilson, Justin Herbert, Dak Prescott,
5 of
Ryan
them.
Tannehill, Tom Brady. And that's for those top 12 quarterbacks outside of the top 3 special quarterbacks that usually are. That's about the round that you should be kind of yanking, somewhere between there 7, 8. So I don't think that was out of the ordinary.
Yeah, I was surprised there was quarterbacks left when I did grab one in the 6th. I was surprised in who was left.
Yes.
I was like, okay, I'll wait on a quarterback. I'm guessing like a Ryan Tannehill, Justin Herbert, somewhere along that line. And then as just kept falling down the board, I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
well, I'm gonna pull the trigger because they're about to go. And sure enough, seventh round, they all went.
Yeah. Danny gets Tom Brady, the last pick of the 7th, turns around and grabs himself some Debo.
Yeah,
Not a bad pick there. And
No.
probably one of Tyler's
Back to
better
back,
picks
yeah.
is Devonte Smith, and that came right there. So
yeah, I do like that pick. I think
we
somebody's got to
have-
catch the ball out there, right?
We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 straight receivers go right there. Debo, Devontae, Jarvis, Jamar Chase, Marquise Brown, Corey Davis, and Jalen Waddle.
And the rookies, Devonta, Jamar, and Waddle go.
Yeah. Which one of those are you giving the edge to? If you could pick, it looks like they all went in the same round,
Mhm.
So which one would you have wanted in your? Because I think,
Danny took
Danny
Debo, so
technically,
obviously,
Danny, we already know his answer.
right.
What you took a running back, but what would you have taken?
I
if
would have
all
went
those were right there?
Corey Davis. Corey Davis was on my radar.
Okay.
They're saying he's got a lot of chemistry with, can't remember his name, the
Zach
rookie.
Wilson.
Yes, Zach Wilson over at the Jets. So I like this pick. I don't know if I was still looking for running backs, but out of who got drafted there, I would have went Corey Davis.
That's Mr. Luke Risings.
Who did mostly auto draft.
No, not mostly. He like 99.9% of it. He cut in for two picks.
Right.
One of them, so he needs to thank ESPN for that pick. Secondly, he went Young Hoku here pretty soon just because he loves that guy. I think he ordered a jersey in the same.
Didn't he get first in regular season last year?
He was up there.
Second. I know he got money.
I'd have to look it up, but he was
pretty sure he got money.
and
that was because of him.
And it was Young Hoku, who I think he read him off. I don't think he had under double digits all year.
That's impressive.
Yeah,
And in fact, he had a lot of 20s up in there. So
crazy.
do we want to go ahead and kick that part off?
Since we're talking about kickers,
Yes.
yeah, why not?
Yeah.
Yeah,
We could do this. So normally in these leagues, like these boys mentioned, we draft, write everything down, and then enter the picks later on. But on this day in September, we decided to do drafting on our apps on our phones. And we came into the 21st century, so it's a pretty big deal.
Right.
And all that was great. But once you had most of your picks in, there was a certain point in the draft where it required you to do something. Jimmer, go ahead and explain this.
So, if you've listened to the previous episodes, I'm anti-kicker. So, we were going to take the kicker out. In fact, we all had the discussion. I know a few guys that didn't want that to happen. Like previously stated, Luke Rising was not a fan of that. But we had a few guys that were not digging it. But at that point, just didn't care. I'm tired of playing with the kicker. There's no studying in it. So, for the last 5 years at least, maybe even more, I've never taken a kicker in the draft. I pick up so many, I do pick up a defense, but all the rest are some version of skill players. And before the week 1 game starts, I'll figure out which player I want to drop to pick up a kicker for this. So we go and do this on auto, or do this in on the app live instead of writing them down and enter them later. We get to round 17. Round 17, I hadn't taken kicker yet because I wasn't going to. Did not give me an option to take anything other than a kicker. So, fuck you, ESPN.
Shout out to ESPN. Nice work.
Get out of here.
The rest of us love you.
Forcing a decision that day.
I did have to take a kicker in the last
I would say I shouldn't say it quite like that, but God, you're just so it was almost stacked against me. It was almost like they heard I don't like doing the kicker.
Yeah.
And we got stuck with the kicker because we started our draft and we forgot to change the setting to pull the kicker.
Right, to pull the kicker out, yep.
Yep. So, and then as soon as that came, I'm like, well, I'll just do what I normally do. I'll take one and I'll figure one out later. Nope. They don't even give you an option to do that.
Yep, because they would have drafted for you if you ran the timer out.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, no, they just didn't give the option. Like, the only thing that was showing up was literally the kicker spot.
Yep.
You try to open up any of the other ones, player's not available.
Yep. I know. I still had a kicker left. But since we're on kickers, you mentioned Young-Ho Koo, round 9. Yes, kicker picked up.
Going 9.
Okay.
I'd like to mention a couple other picks here. Michael Thomas in the 9th. Michael Thomas in the 9th. He's going to sit out several weeks here. 4 or 6, something like that.
Yep.
So, but definitely somebody that could potentially pay off. But the other one is Michael Pittman, round 9. Potential number 1 wide receiver there in Indy. I like that pick, even though I hate your team. I do like that pick there.
Yeah, that one didn't upset me too much. At that point, it was literally between him and Antonio Brown. The only reason why I had Antonio highlighted for Q, but I wasn't looking at my team because we were doing it all on. I was doing it on my smartphone, so I don't have it like right there. Thank God I didn't hit the click button because I forgot that I already drafted Chris Godwin. And then I went to my team to make sure. Chris Godwin, I'm like, oh, shit, I can't take him. So it was literally between those two guys. I think Antonio Brown will have a damn good season. I think Michael Pittman will, too. That will obviously clearly depend on Carson Wentz. I don't think Jacob Eason is going to be – well, maybe he will. Maybe he'll just wing it downfield. Michael Pittman's a big receiver. So –
Well, they better start Sam Ellinger if they got to start someone else.
Yeah, he went IR, I thought.
Oh, did he? I know he hurt his knee, but I guess I didn't notice if they did throw him
I'd
on
have
IR.
I'd take a look here, but
Okay.
I thought he did. We'll look up Indiana.
So Danny grabs a tight end here, the end of round 9, Robert Tonyan. I do like that pick. If you had to get a tight end here, solid.
Yeah, I needed a tight end, and they were starting to get thin there, so I went Tonyan. I think there's a lot of upside. Green Bay throws the ball so much in the red zone. And he's looking either basically to him or Adams, so might as well. Then followed that up with Curtis Samuel, Washington wide receiver. This was I don't know. This is an awesome value for me at 10. I think he's going to have a high floor. I think a lot of potential here. Fitzmagic's going to chuck that thing all around. So it's going to be good. And then Ronald Jones gets picked up. Then right away the Bucs defense. What do you think, Rio? You got, oh boy, a few rounds earlier, right? You got Fournette, didn't you?
Yes.
So what was your thought process between Fournette and Ronald Jones?
You know, I think they kind of go hot hand approach a little bit. I know they got Giovanni Bernard, who should slide into that third down back. I needed someone, and I just went with whoever I liked a little bit better. And so I went with Fournette there. Ronald Jones, I don't know. I like the way Fournette ran in the postseason last year, so I hope he continues that. And I hope they keep him on the ball because of that.
So they
whatnot.
Real quick, they did put Sam Ellinger on injured reserve.
Oh, okay.
So.
Yep. So that's why I went where I did there. I come down. I take Singletary here. I needed another running back. I did want Marquez Callaway, but I was stacked at receiver. I see Jimmer got him 2 picks later, so very nice pick. He was on my radar. But at the time, like I said, I needed another running back there on my bench. Then 11, we get to round 11. This is where most of the defenses go. You got Ravens. Buccaneers went the round before, but you have Ravens, Rams, Washington, Browns defense all go in here.
Yep. Kind of a defensive round right there. And that's kind of where the top end one should go, I think. Anything double digits, right? And at least that's my opinion on that one. Anything double digit rounds is when you start kind of looking at it. We're not used to that. We're used to 6th round, 7th round, 8th round, and seeing at least one defense go.
Oh, yeah.
Some dumb stuff,
Absolutely.
And shout out to my boy Kevin and Jay.
The Reverend.
Yeah.
He also drafted 3 kickers one year and said that we're like, what'd you do that for? You only start one. He's like, trade bait. He's like, nobody does trade bait.
Trade
for
bait,
damn
baby.
kickers. Jesus. That so I want to touch on that a little bit. You said Marquez Callaway. That literally, we flip-flopped that right there. Because I wanted Devin Singletary. You just took him. I was like, you know what? I'm going to take a high upside wide receiver then. Because looking at what was there for running backs, there wasn't much. I mean, I like Trey Sermon. Don't get me wrong. But I don't want...
I was going Trey Sermon next, but then I seen Ravens and Rams go. Yeah. And I go, okay, I'm going to go with Washington sitting there. I'm going to go ahead and pull the trigger on a defense here.
Absolutely.
That can be potential top 5. So
I got to touch on one for I shouldn't say love. I like the pick of Darnell Mooney in this next round.
I'm going to tell you, I love the back-to-back picks. Michael Carter, the next pick. I don't know if you realize that, but that was a solid 2 picks right there. So
yeah,
I have to give you props on that. I do like that.
What do you mean? What do you guys mean? You guys didn't have the Jets doing really anything this year, so
they got a couple just players that play, man.
Fantasy purposes.
Right. Fantasy purposes.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, Mooney, I think, is the high floor guy. He had just a ton of targets last year. He's going to get a lot of targets and do well. And then Carter, we're not sure what we're going to see, but I think Carter's going to do well this year too. So who else do we have going here in the 12th? So Michael Carter started off. We've got Devonte Parker, Jalen Reagor. I know you guys are a fan of his. Philip Lindsay, all the way down. Not a bad pick, right? He's going to be the lead back, don't you think?
I don't know about a good pick, but you know what? He's going to be the lead back. But does it say much? They're going to be chasing from behind,
right?
Because their defense isn't very good either. And then they still have 2 serviceable.
David Johnson comes into play, right?
I think I would have rather had David Johnson because I think everything that was kind of coming out is that, he's playing a little bit of wide receiver also because they don't have very much talent around there. So I think if I had to take one of them, I think it would have been him. And I'm not saying he was available. I'm just saying I don't know if I'm even big on anyone on that team. I crossed the Texans off my list. There was not a Texan that was going to be on my damn team. There was nothing there.
Yeah.
So I hope he starts him every week.
You hope?
Yes.
Yeah.
We'll see.
I hope he does the dum-dum.
What else? So we come down. We've got James White, Paris Campbell, Tyrell, and Mr. Gronkowski.
I would have had. I would have rather had James White before Philip Lindsay. That's the very next pick after Philip Lindsay.
Yeah.
a pass catching back with a rookie
Touchdown
quarterback.
potential, yeah.
So we all know that a tight end is a perfect safety blanket for a quarterback, right? What's the next one?
Running backs.
Pass catching in the flat, running back, right?
Oh yeah.
So I'm just saying I probably would have taken him because you're not starting any one of those guys unless you're doing maybe flex or you're in injury trouble anyway. I'd rather roll with James White in that one.
Okay. Yeah, I do. I go Gronkowski. Needed a tight end, so I love it. In the 12th, why not? You know, I'm not getting anybody else, but the potential to have a lot of end zone targets is there. But
there were a lot of tight ends taken just before that. So 11 and 10, 11, 12, they started kind of coming off, and they snuck up on me. So I had one or two chalked up. I'm a late tight end guy, and I see some upside, and that's what I was going to roll with. I was in a battle for Irv Smith if he still would have not injured himself. But
Irv Smith was on my radar too.
Yeah,
obviously
but
gone.
As soon as that came up and I looked down at my board and those guys that I had queued on there were gone, I'm like, oh, Jesus. And I had to scratch. And I'm like, God, I took Zach Ertz. And I took him. I'm like, just show me a little bit of something. This isn't what I wanted. Believe me when I say that. When I say I wait late, this isn't how late I wanted to go. So it isn't new to everybody. Like we said, we always write ours in and then we fill them in later into the computer. That snuck up on me. Usually I grab one that's a little more middle of the tier tight end. This is like definitely a swing and a prayer right here.
So, Rio, I don't know if you're paying attention, but right now Jimmer's laying the groundwork for some excuses to come as the season goes on. So just let's mark this down.
I'm not worried.
Definitely. It's coming.
I'm not worried. I may not start a tight end to whoop that ass. I'm both of you.
Get out of here.
Zach Ertz. Ouch.
Zach Ertz.
Dude,
ouch.
He won't start. That shit may ball out. What do you mean won't start?
He's not starting. He's listed number 2.
It doesn't matter if he's listed number 2. He's more talented than Dallas Goedert. There's no way they don't start him unless they trade him, and then that just helps me.
I was going to say, however, you should watch to see if he gets traded there.
It'll still be him for the pass-catching duty. Believe me on that. Now, I do agree if Ertz would have stayed away, like whatever his little dispute was, I would have had Dallas Goedert a lot higher. Like, I do like where that would have went, but now that he's on the field, there's no way I wanted Goddard. I didn't really want Ertz, but if I had to pick between the two for pass catching, it's going to be that guy right there. You don't get points for blocking.
Rio, was Gronk your only tight end, or did you have somebody earlier?
No, that was it.
Okay.
I said I waited all this time. I wanted to go Hooper, except when I saw the defenses go, I was like, okay, with Washington sitting there, I'm going to go what could be a potential top 5 defense. I'm going to go ahead and grab that right there. So then Austin Hooper went later, 4 or 5 picks later. So then that kind of left me no man's land, some tight ends the next round. So I went ahead and grabbed Gronk. You got some upside for some targets in the red zone.
Yeah. Well, we start rolling into the 13th. We get a little dumb action here, and we get another kicker taken.
Multiple kickers.
Multiple.
Yeah, multiple. Well, that's because they see the one go, I think, more than anything.
Yeah.
Miles. Miles took Harrison Butker.
AJ Green in 13. Actually, Sterling Shepard, too. My pick. I like them both. I went Sterling Shepard because he's had shown the connection with Jones at quarterback. He just can't stay on the field. So hoping to get some of that. I do like the AJ Green as well. We'll see what the target share will end up being, but I do like that as well.
Oh, so do I. That's a flyer that it won't hurt you. You know, that can only boom for you. What, you drop a 13th round pick at some point to pick up someone off the waiver wire, or he booms and he just turned into a high profile offense, second option wide receiver.
Yep.
So to me, that's not a bad pick right there. There's also a little wave of quarterbacks going right here too. You have Justin Fields, Joe Burrow, Tua Tagovailoa. I'm gonna go ahead and say that because I know how to say it.
I love it.
Big Ben, and then you get Jameis Winston, Baker Mayfield, kind of all in the 12 pick range right in there.
Here's where Tyler goes, Jameis Winston.
Yeah. and there was other quarterbacks. I mean, you could have picked him up off the waiver wire when this is all said and done. I mean, who else was left on? He should have went the round before. He should have went maybe 12th round and grabbed himself a quarterback. He could have grabbed one of those other ones that we just named. Swing for the upside. I would have taken Joe. Sure. Maybe the round earlier than 13 if I was him. not. Yeah, but he's banking on it. He's like, well, that's gonna be my X factor right there. If he takes off in that offense and he hits 30+ touchdowns, also the same guy that can also hit 30+ interceptions. But we're getting to the tail end where you start taking flyers or veterans. I'm more of a flyer guy.
Me too, myself.
At this point, yeah.
Usually that's where I sit. I mean, I did get Russell Gage in the 14th.
That's actually not too bad in the 14th. I went Amon-Ra St. Brown, my guy who picked. You could potentially be a breakout there.
Oh, yeah. He's going to be wide receiver 1, I do believe. I mean, I don't know where he's listed.
He'll play in the slot.
Yeah.
Where I think, their quarterback, Goff, has shown that he's only going to chunk it down, check downs, and he's not going to chunk it deep. So I think a nice pick there. And then I went Chubba Hubbard, right? Chubba Hubbard.
Mm-hmm.
So potential if McCaffrey's feeling injury a little bit.
I think Danny got himself a little bit of a steal here, though, in the 14th with the Broncos D.
Yeah.
Not swinging high for what that defense has potential. Well, that defense has potential of definitely top 10.
Yeah.
Maybe somewhere high side of 5 if everyone clicks right.
Yeah, I think the Broncos D. Right before them, I went kind of potential with Cole Kmet too. I think he has a potential to break out as a tight end with the Bears, especially with your boy
Justin Fields there.
That was one of my potential. That was one of my watches. So you're welcome for that.
You're welcome. Oh, you must listen to the show too.
Oh, you must listen to the show. Round 16, I take a grudge pick here and take the Vikings just right before Jimmer shows up.
Yeah, so for those of you listening, that's 3 different times in the draft Rio has tried to screw Jimmer over at some point. So
yeah, and only one of them stung a little bit. I'm not stupid enough to take 2 defenses. That's the reason I don't battle for third. I battle for championship.
Yeah? Who's finished last here? Anybody? Raise your hand. Who got the toilet bowl trophy?
I didn't. I shouldn't have had it.
Okay, so we all know what that means.
No, shouldn't have had it because we didn't go by final standings. So, which is how the season ends, is by final standings. But whatever. Touching on my 15th, I took a flyer on Ramondre Stevenson from New England. Seen a little spark from him. They obviously like him a little bit, bare minimum. I mean, you have Damian Harris. Yes, you have the old trusty James White there, but you traded Sony Michel. You don't trade Sony Michel if you don't have a little bit of faith in this guy right here, unless you plan on signing one off the street. I guess we'll see in the coming days, but I took a flyer on it, 15th round, not going to hit anything. 16th, I went Donovan Peoples-Jones. I touched on that in our AFC episode. I think I'm opposite of you guys. I don't think Odell's going to click. I think eventually he may get traded. And Donovan Peoples-Jones actually was showing something. So I took a flyer on it, kind of put my money where the mouth was at that point. And if he takes off, great. If not, great. It's a 16th round pick.
yeah, I went Tyson Williams for Baltimore. I think the way they run the ball, there's always potential for injuries back there. I think he's got a shot to do something. Maybe not, but figured I'd put him there. We'll see.
We'll go ahead and touch on the fact that I trapped a damn kicker in the 17th. I did get Matt Gay of the Rams, so it isn't like, as far as kickers go, I'm not disappointed in him, but there's no science in a goddamn kicker.
Yeah.
Well, a little bit, but yeah, nothing you should be
minuscule.
worrying about.
You're not up studying for a kicker.
Right.
Yeah, how long is that conversation or that thought process when you're picking up one week to week? Well, like serious, I'm asking you a serious question. Like when you're looking at one like for a bye week, what are you looking at? You're seeing to see if the game is played indoors, right? Or if it's going to be shitty weather.
Yep.
And exactly what I stated in a previous episode. Are they a good enough offense to move the ball, but not so good that they're putting it in the end zone? And the game will be close.
Right? 20-20, but no scores.
Yeah, and hopefully one of them will be a 50-yarder, which I'd like to see where you can go ahead and show me how you can predict getting 40, 50-yard field goals.
Making field goals is easy, right? I do believe our boy Eric White said extra point was easy.
Yeah, he did. He said he could make. So we'll go ahead and touch on that sore subject a little bit because it was in response to the Vikings kicker shanking, horribly missing. Remember that? And it was cold out.
Was that like just regular season?
No, that was in the playoffs against Seattle.
Oh man!
And it was it 23-yarder? Is that what it was? 23.
Yeah.
and that's very sore, very sore. But he's like, oh, I don't know how you missed that. I'm like, oh, like you can nail one, and go ahead and do that in the coldest recorded game.
Yeah.
In the playoffs. So what did he say? 20?
I don't remember what the bet was, but I know when we get our camera going, we're going to get him out there to practice.
Yeah, that's going to go ahead and happen. Not practice. He can practice. He's been able to practice for 3 years now.
Oh, right.
So he should be well fucking trained by the time we do this. It's time to go ahead and get up there and boot this thing.
So he can kick a 50-yard field goal is what he's saying?
No, 23.
23?
23-yard field goal.
Interesting.
Oh, by the way, with no screaming fans, no cold-ass weather, no defense rushing at you, but he can still hit that 23-yard field goal. That's easy. But we're going to take all that out. The bet was you can't hit that anyways, even with all that out. I'm like, that isn't easy to kick a field goal. Why do you think most high school teams don't kick them?
Because they don't have me on their team.
What, with the half foot? Jesus. So
I'll unscrew this thing and hit it.
Are they worried about you puncturing the ball with the bone?
I swing the thing a little faster since I got a little meat missing.
There you go.
There you go.
Less resistance.
That's right.
Yeah.
There you go.
It's all about the science, the speed, and the.
So we kind of wrapped up our actual draft part here, right? Who are you thinking is your top 3 teams of this that we went? And who do you think finishes bottom? And I want exact for the bottom. The top, I don't care. That's just you saying the best looking rosters. Who do you think finishes last in this league? In the order 12, 11, 10.
So I think we're all in agreement.
Tyler's
horrible.
last.
You have Tyler as dead last.
Tyler's dead last. Yeah.
Tyler is dead
then,
last.
I did. Oh my God, Miles was so bad too. Even
for
with
drafting
his
number one.
For drafting number 1. So
hey, I'm gonna give you a shout out, Miles. You stepped in when another guy didn't show up.
You weren't prepared. Thank you for doing it.
You weren't prepared for. You did step up and you did.
Guy who
you
has
did
the
pay
number
too,
one
and he
pick.
did pay.
Yeah, he did pay. So the guy who had the number 1 pick does not show. Does not call, no nothing. So
all right, so I'll give Miles a little bit of love. So I'll go Tyler last, Kyle,
and
Winter,
and then Miles. I do agree with that. I didn't realize how bad Kyle's was.
Yeah, it's rough. I think we're pretty damn close to that, actually. I may make a little outlandish and say that Kyle actually finishes last, then Tyler, then Miles in this. I was looking at that and I was like, oof. I don't know. That was just me. Who you got for your top 3 in no particular order, just top 3?
Let's not go top 3, but 3 teams that you are potentially scared of.
Oh, there you go. We can do it that way too.
That way you don't have to put.
Yep.
So don't count yourself in, right?
Nope.
Don't count yourself, but 3 teams that you are scared of that could go ahead of you.
Let's see here. I can give you one right off the gate. The one that I probably am thinking about the most, and that is a guy by the name of Dakota.
Dakota's up there in mine as well.
So, looking at his, I'm gonna go ahead and just shout his team out quick here. He drafted. Where did he draft in the
8 maybe?
8, somewhere in there. Okay.
No, 8 was Will, so he was right there.
He's somewhere in that ballpark, in the middle of the pack.
Middle
So
of the pack.
his team is Kyler Murray, Derrick Henry, James Robinson, Calvin Ridley, Deontay Johnson, Robbie Anderson, Mike Gesicki, Antonio Brown, Patriots D, and Tyler Bass. And he's the one that I think he's the one that stole AJ Green. And a couple long shots. Oh, I actually we all talked about this. AJ Dillon's on his bench too. And then a rest guy that we also like. We'll see how the backfield breaks out. Trey Sermon. And I loved Devonte Williams. So that's one of the ones. If I remember correctly, Luke Risings.
Yeah, shout out to ESPN for helping him out there again.
Yeah, mostly auto draft. So
Dak Prescott, Barkley, Harris, Robinson, Tyler Lockett, Ayuk, Darren Waller, Marvin Jones, Dolphins D, Young Hoku, Corey Davis on his bench. You just talked about that. You were liking that, and I like Corey Davis too.
I'm not scared of his running backs. He's got some wide receivers, but
his wide receivers are pretty damn deep. Yep.
going to have to get a lot from his wide receivers.
Yeah, Saquon is, we'll see what happens. What we think he should be, but injury is always the thing. And Najee's a rookie, so. And he's not very deep at running back either. His next running back after that is James White. So, and then, if I remember right, Danny's was not bad either. So I'd have to put him, especially draft him from the 12 spot. Yeah, this isn't a bad lineup right here. Tom Brady, Antonio Gibson, DeAndre Swift, Tyreek Hill, Mike Evans, Odell Beckham, Robert Tonyan, Myles Gaskin, Broncos D. He has Debo Samuel on his bench, Curtis Samuel, Michael Carter. So it's a nice team. So he definitely should be competing. You do have a couple. We'll see what happens with Odell. I'm not as high. I'm traditionally high on Mike Evans. I'm not as high on Mike Evans this year. But we'll see how that breaks out there. Robert Tonyan, I think he got a little bit of a steal there for. So those are mine.
Yeah, I think Danny did well with his draft. He'd probably sit at 4th. I think he's going to give a lot of people problems, including potentially myself. I like Dakota's. I do like yours, Jimmer. But another guy I think we are kind of sitting on is Mr. Will. Nick Chubb, Miles Sanders, Kareem Hunt as your running backs, Jamal Williams, Philip Lindsay's got a little potential, Ryan Tannehill's quarterback, Jerry Jeudy, who you're high on, DK Metcalf, Marquise Brown, he's got George Kittle there. So Henry Ruggs as well, who may
not bad. I'm not big.
horrible.
I'm not big on the Henry part, but if you were talking about the starters right there, we're maybe not giving enough love.
So I would have Danny's right up there in my 3-4 fringe there as well. He had an awesome draft for drafting 4.
Well, we all didn't get to get surrounded
12,
by Tyler Kinnicky's pick, so
no
that
kidding.
made it a little easier.
Right when he's dodging the good players.
I don't know. It's interesting seeing. They're probably the only team that could do it, but it's interesting on Will's team with Chubb and Kareem Hunt.
Yep.
So
would you feel comfortable starting them every week?
I wouldn't
together.
I don't think I would.
No, it's got to be one or the other.
Or you look at maybe a possible trade, like someone that gets a little. I don't know what his other running backs were. What were they?
His other outside of those two, Williams backup for Detroit, Philip Lindsay. That's it.
Williams is going to get touchdowns, though. He's going to get.
So he's going to be
inside
hurt.
the
So I understand they both did it well last year. Okay, so I will first off start off by saying that I would not want that. That could be his one downfall is the 1 week that one's hitting, the other one isn't, because you're not going to start.
You're missing playing one or the other.
Right.
Yeah.
And then then you start getting into your own head and you play like a Philip Lindsay instead of playing like a Kareem that 1 week and.
Right. You keep it missing, and Chubb should stay in his lineup.
Oh yeah,
I think it comes down to
there's no way to take Chubb out.
Right.
So
when do you play Kareem?
Right,
is
exactly.
going to be
so. If there's one thing that's ended up getting in his head and that could end up hurting him is probably, I wouldn't have had both Cleveland backs that not together, not on the same team.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree there.
That one makes not having them on the same fantasy team makes a hell of a lot more sense than not having Dak and Zeke on the same fantasy team.
I'm willing to trade Julio.
Hear the crickets in the background?
Yeah, that's
Yeah, thanks. That's because
for once they actually came in handy.
Yeah, I don't know. You guys mentioned Dakota's team. I think it's pretty solid. I don't know about almost anybody from the Pittsburgh receiving core though. I do like Robbie Anderson. And Gesicki's got some potential there too.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. I could see Dakota's team being a problem. Honestly, though, I think Luke's is probably like top to bottom because of ESPN. Pretty, I don't know, top 4.
He might hurt himself a little bit just with who he could have gotten instead of Young Hoku right about there when he stepped in and made that draft pick. Might have even had an even better depth piece right there.
Right.
Not sold on Harris, rookie running back, behind that horrible line. I mean, they're giving him 13 points at Buffalo. I do, but I like his wide receiver picks. Allen Robinson, Tyler Lockett, Marvin Jones, Corey Davis on his bench, DJ Chark. I like
So
too.
what you're saying is he may want to actually look at possibly trading one of those guys and
Try to acquire
try to get
someone
another
else.
running back
I mean, I think Harris is going to be just fine in this league. I'm just not sure about this year being how bad I believe that O-line is going to be.
well,
Yeah, in your team, Rio, I like your squad. I'm not sold on Mike Davis yet. So
Sure,
we'll
I'm
see
definitely
how-
hurting at running back.
And then
I would never be
Gronk as
sold
your
on
tight
that.
end, I'm a little scared about too.
Yeah.
There could be some goose eggs
Well,
dropped there.
right. But I think my wide
Ve-
receivers make up for it.
very heavy touchdown dependent with Gronk, but
Absolutely. And like I said, I
Yeah.
took him in the
yeah,
so late.
No,
that
yeah, definitely the value there. No,
I knew
I'm with you.
I'm not getting crazy numbers from my tight end spot. But I think
You're-
that's kind of the
your worst pick of the day though was Mike Davis, and
my dad. Well, I had to. That's the only thing. Where I was, and you see it on my draft. I'm loaded at wide receiver, but I'm so thin at running back.
hey, next year I'll just go ahead and help draft for you.
Yeah.
We'll try to get you into the competition of competing for that belt.
And Jimmer, I'm not high in your quarterback.
what?
And
That's what you're gonna bring to this conversation,
yeah, so
dude? You can talk about my tight
don't-
end or
I'm going down the list. Obviously McCaffrey and
Russell
Montgomery,
Wilson. You're not big on.
stud. I'm not big on Russell Wilson this year.
What?
Zach Ertz, dog shit. Galladay not gonna do much.
I
You're
like
big
how-
on Chase Edmonds, and I don't hate him, so that's not a bad flex. And then obviously your kicker, great pick on the kicker.
Yeah, you're a piece of shit for that one right there. I'm gonna say that right now. But number 2, let's go back to the Russell part. Let's get back to the Hawk talk.
Yeah.
I had them going 9-8 or whatever it was, but I'm gonna tell you now they're going 9-8 because of that, man. They're going to be running are going to be passing that rock everywhere. So that was by far one of the best quarterback values for what he's going to bring. He's going to pass for over $4,000. He's gonna throw for
I hope
35.
so. 17 games, baby.
Well, at least that.
Yeah.
I'm also not accounting for his probably near 500 yards rushing and his 35 touchdowns minimum passing, and they'll probably have a few running too.
Yeah, he'll be okay. I don't think he'll be Russ of the past. I think I like Rio's team a little better than yours.
I'm not even worried.
Get out of here.
Not even worried, baby. And
Yeah.
I think I face your goofy ass twice this year.
I hope so.
I
so I
can't
can smack
wait.
it up.
Oh, it ain't gonna happen.
Smack it up.
Not gonna happen. I can't believe the fucking blasphemy on this goddamn set right now. Dude's trying to get me upset. It's borderline working.
You know what? I
I'm
think
like,
we
God
need to kick
damn.
him off of being the league part of the league manager because the last couple years he's had the least amount of points scored against him.
But
my
hold on,
goodness!
Hold on. Would we like to look what my points for were? Didn't matter what someone else scored.
Dude, yeah, but
Go
then
ahead, look it up.
Then you
Go ahead, look it up.
face.
When we
No,
made this bet
what-
the other day, one thing Jimmer kept saying to me
Points for.
is you could play slap dicks is what you kept saying, and it turns out that's how you've been getting the championships every
No,
year.
Yeah,
not
dude.
even.
Slap
Yes.
dicks,
Not
huh?
even.
Yeah,
I like
he
how
goes
you-
off occasionally a few games.
You
know,
don't play.
and then
You don't play slap dicks in championship round, baby. That's where I take care of business.
Did you?
Last year was hold on, I got fucked. Josh Allen should have been sitting the rest of that game because they were already whooping that ass.
Yeah, you were only
and I
third
could not
in-
believe and then he
third in points for last year. That's it.
only
Yeah, only third.
and how far off was it from the other two?
Only
17
third.
points maybe. Get out of here.
I should have let you draft.
Get outta
I should have
here.
let you draft Jalen Hurts.
Good God.
that beating would've been worse,
Hey, listen to
actually.
this dumb shit. I apologize to all the 3 gigsters out there for listening to this crapshoot of some analysis over here.
Only fourth.
Good God.
Gosh.
No, the difference is Rio's stacked at receiver, but his running back game is
You
tough.
were number 1 in 19.
I don't
you
like
had
your
nothing.
receivers as much. I don't like Galladay. I'm just nothing with the Giants.
Hold on.
appeals.
Can you go ahead and tell everybody where Galladay is in my lineup? Or would you like me to go ahead and tell you?
In
Because I have it
your-
in front of me.
In your starting lineup?
Right.
I mean?
Yep. What?
I don't know what you're looking for here.
So wide receiver 3. So you're telling me he's not a wide receiver 3? He's not my wide receiver 1 or 2. He's a wide receiver 3.
Who's throwing him the ball?
What do you mean who's throwing him the ball? Daniel Jones throwing the ball. He's the only one that'll catch a ball there.
Danny Dimes is throwing him the ball.
They paid him money for a reason. This man will do just fine. Not to mention, if I need to, I'll just go ahead and drop a perfect wide receiver 3 and Russell Gage in there. Or Michael Pittman Jr. So, dude, not even worried. Now, dude, I was going to actually maybe even throw a game or two so I want to go undefeated. So now I'm going to have to fucking just whoop that ass.
Dude, I can't wait till he goes like
balls
he has one
deep.
win.
Ass whooping.
Starts the season 1-4.
Oh yeah, and then
Yeah.
just starts. Oh
Yeah, that's gonna happen. No way in hell. There's absolutely no way in hell.
I even hope it gets stupid, and
Dude.
you score like 170 and still lose.
Why would you wish that on anybody? Because we've all been there. Why would you wish that on anybody?
So bad.
That does hurt.
That one stings.
That does sting. Who was it? Seth Malik a few years ago. Like for like 4 or 5 weeks, he faced the highest score. I don't know what he did for points, but every week he
just
faced
could
high.
not get a break.
Yep.
I also had it happen more than once. So that Josh Allen one, since we're going to touch on that, Josh Allen, they should have yanked him because they were whooping him. And I think they played him in the second half. And then I just watched it. He, like, marches down with them, gets a touchdown. That touchdown, like, takes – I do believe that's where I technically got beat. Was it you beat me by 2 or whatever the hell. It doesn't matter. I had that happen another time, but this was regular season. I don't know if you guys remember, probably about 5-6 years back. There was a Monday night game, and it was the Giants versus the Saints. And they had Eli Manning going. The Giants were getting steamrolled. Like, I had this in the bag. I was still up by 30. Halftime was already over, I think, halfway through the third. I ended up dozing off. But before I dozed off, I seen that they threw. So, Eli threw 2 touchdowns. I'm like, all right, we'll make it a little more interesting, or something like that. They had pulled Breeze because they were up that far. They had to put Breeze back in that game because they made it that much closer. I think Eli ended up throwing 4 touchdowns, ended up beating me like in complete garbage time. So garbage time is a very sensitive subject with me.
Thank you, James Crowder.
Yeah, fuck that guy too.
James Crowder,
Yeah,
my hero.
He tagged me on one too with that garbage time shit.
Well, your reasoning for Russ playing well and the receivers playing well is because they're going to be coming from behind a lot. That would be garbage time.
I don't know if it's garbage time if you go 9-8.
They won't.
They'll go 9-8. They're in one hell of a hard division. They will go. There's no way. When you have a MVP-esque quarterback, there's no way that you are going to be sub 500.
I'm sorry, Deshaun Watson.
What else did they have at all?
I'm just going by what you just said. That's it. Deshaun Watson. They won 4 games.
Did he get banged up at all? I'm
No.
talking about the full season.
No, he threw almost 5,000 yards too.
Threw 5,000 yards.
Yeah.
All right, I got to eat one then, but but most of the time
Yeah. Yep. I'm with you. But don't you also have the Giants winning like 9 games?
they're going to. Yep,
Oh man.
9-8, crappy division outside of Washington. So yeah. No, I don't know what you're looking at like that. That's a
What the
crappy
hell?
ass division.
Right, but then you said
That's a
besides
shit.
Washington.
No, hold on. That's it. No, let me make that very clear. Since we're an explicit one,
All right,
it's a shitty ass.
Okay, you just carried Detroit around
NFC
for
East
the last
or NFC
20
East.
years.
So, you named one team. Your division was literally battling to put in a under 500 team into the fucking playoffs.
Crazy, we just beat each other up in the division.
You still had a 5-16 winning team in the hunt for a playoff spot.
It's crazy,
in the
right?
last 2 weeks of the season.
When
That
you
is dog shit. That's the reason why they need to change that
When
rule.
you're good, you're good.
Division winners don't get automatic bids.
No, it should be conference.
It should be.
Yep.
And that's exactly.
I
It
can't
happened.
disagree with that.
It did happen back with Seahawks going 7-9 that one year.
Yep.
And then to make it an insult to injury, a 13 or 12
Was
or
it-
13 win team.
Was it
had
the
to-
Bears?
No.
And then they fired their coach at
Oh,
13?
No. So I'll touch on that part too, I guess. It was Tampa Bay Buccaneers with Lovie Smith with a 10-win team didn't make the playoffs. But then they had the Saints, who were like a 12-win team or 11-12, somewhere in that ballpark, travel to Seattle in the first round of the playoffs.
I do remember that.
And that was the
yes.
Marshawn Lynch Rumble game.
Yep.
So you had to go on the road to a team that was under 500. That's such a crock of shit. You shouldn't be in the playoffs at 7-9. I'm sorry. If you're not at least 500, you should should not be in. Division that's a crock of shit. Only 6 out of your 16 games at that time, now 17, are played in division. That's crap. Yeah.
Yep.
But that being said, I think we're winding down here. It's a pretty decent episode here. A little chippy, but we are gonna go ahead and start hitting at the makes sense if you don't think about it. We're almost to the thing where we can just say it's getting pretty damn well close to being sponsored by a certain company. We're not quite there yet. We will see, though.
That is correct.
So, Chris, Rio, little buddy, what do you got for us?
Well, so it is my turn, isn't it?
It
All
is.
right. So I was working this day, and we're bagging a certain product, and it's just flying, right? So normally where we're handbagging, it takes 2 people. This product is going so fast. It's 3 of us in there, right? Just handbagging like our minds out.
Yep.
And we're going, and the maintenance guy comes in with a couple other ones, and they're just staring at us. Granted, we look like dog shit, right? We're covered in the product. We're going like crazy.
Mm-hmm.
The bags drop full of product and then puff out the top because the dust collector is not working.
Yep.
So the maintenance guy's there, and the head maintenance guy, they're talking about the dust collector and how it's not working and this and that. So while I'm in the middle of bagging, it's taking 3 guys to catch up, and stay up with this. He's trying to talk to me, and I'm wearing like a mask and stuff, right? So I can barely hear him. And so finally I take my mask off, and he's like, hey, you got a minute? And I just look around like, do you fucking think I got a minute? And this guy goes, yeah, I just want to talk to you about the dust collector. You know how it's not working? Well, have you ever flown a kite? And he proceeds to tell me a story about how a kite works and the wind. And I just look at him. And when he's done, I just look at him and go, are you fucking done now? Yeah.
Did you get some education?
I got some education that day. So lucky me. And, you'd think somebody would see that and be like, hey, maybe another time. Now's not good. But, hey, it makes sense if you don't think about it, boys.
Makes sense if you don't think about it.
Man.
Yeah, that was a rough day.
What a day. Did the dust collector get fixed?
Actually, it did. It did.
Half-assed. Not
Yeah.
because of that.
Not because of that. No,
No.
it was a while after that, but
No.
it finally works much better than it just going ever like that. It was going crazy.
That used to cover the whole room.
Yeah.
It was miserable.
Tough.
But go ahead and, at the end of a shift and you're still hammering away, let's go ahead and stop somebody from what they're doing. And actually, what we're also missing there is they're shortchanging the other 2 that are still going like
just
this
going like
to ask
crazy.
you a stupid ass question.
I was like, hey man, I don't know about the kite thing, but there's a bag there, and if you can hold it, you're perfect for me. Let's go.
Right.
Get right in line.
Go ahead and grab you one of these and get your elbows dirty.
Shit. Well, good story, Rio. Well, I hope everybody enjoyed the podcast today. A lot of shit talk, banter, as we call it. As usual, give us a shout on Facebook. Let us know how your fantasy drafts went, things like that. And feel free to speak up if you think any of our teams are better than the others. We know, obviously, mine.
We posted them.
Head and shoulders above these 2.
Yeah.
But
Get
Yeah,
outta
not
here.
even close. These fools, I got money in the bank coming.
Sunday mornings, if you want, throw us out if you're debating on who to start, and we'll give you some thoughts, and we'll reach back out to you before game time.
Absolutely.
Yeah, do it. All right. Well, thank you, everybody, for listening. Tune back in later this week. We're going to talk Major League Baseball, and NFL starts this week, too. We're all super excited. Thanks
Thursday's
again.
first game, baby.
Let's go.